For better or for worse, we can point to the gold rush as the reason that the colony of British Columbia, now the province of British Columbia, was created. I am talking about the Fraser River Gold Rush in 1858 that brought 30,000 mostly American miners to the Fraser River in the hopes of striking it rich. BC became a British colony because Britain needed to maintain order and control in this chaos. However, the gold rush that is most famous here is the subsequent 1861 Cariboo Gold Rush, triggered by the discovery of gold on Horsefly River. Named after Billy Barker, one of the first miners to strike it rich in the area, the town of Barkerville sprung up practically overnight and became the very center of this gold rush. Today, Barkerville has been preserved and restored as a historic town and park that attracts visitors from around the world, and I'm finally going to visit it. Good morning. I just went to get cash out, and now I'm gonna go pick up my friend, and then we're on our way. To get to Barkerville, we're following the Gold Rush Trail, a route with historical relevance to the gold rushes that stretches between New Westminster and Barkerville. Barkerville is almost a 9-hour drive from Vancouver, so we decided to split it up into multiple days so that we could check out some other places along the way. We made our first stop at Kilby Historic Site. It's a living history museum featuring the Kilby family's farm and general store that opened in 1906. It served the community of Harrison Mills, which was home to many gold rush families. We got some animal feed. Hello. You want food? Don't leave. Need a peck. Blink, blink. Ew. Oh, this is so messy. Uh-oh. Oh no. Oh no. Why is this so okay. Look at this hand. Whoa. You want more? From here, we headed straight to the town of Lillooet, where we would be spending our first night. We made it to Fort Berens Estate Winery just before closing. This is Lillooet's first successful commercial winery.
Drink red, white wine?
Both.
Both? Perfect. That's very nice. Start with the dry Riesling. This is my favorite. Very expressive. Nice little cool. Cabernet Sauvignon.
Oh my gosh. Conveniently, there was a Chinese buffet restaurant right next door.
How many?
2.
Okay, this table over here.
I always find Chinese restaurants in small towns intriguing. I hadn't been to a Chinese buffet in ages, so it felt quite nostalgic. I feel like I'm having the authentic Chinese Canadian experience. This stuff is good. Yeah. Second round. And the Jell-O. What a throwback. Lillooet started off as a gold rush town in the 1850s and is known as Mile Zero of the old Cariboo Road, the wagon road used during the gold rushes. As you'll see later, roadhouses along this road were named according to their distance from Lillooet, and some of the towns where the roadhouses were still retain those names. We started off the morning at the popular Abundance Artisan Bakery. Well, I think it's also the only bakery in town.
Hi. Could I get one ham and cheese croissant and one cinnamon bun for here? Yeah. And then also 2 small iced coffees and 2 go cups. Even this one, I'm like, it's pretty big.
Yeah.
After checking out, we set off in the direction of 100 Mile House, making some stops along the way. In 70 Mile House, there's a place called the Sugar Shack, owned by a local couple who are originally from Quebec. Here you can get poutine and other Quebec-inspired food, as well as maple products.
Your turn, girls.
Hi.
Hi.
Can we get a full order of smoked meat poutine?
Yep.
And then 1 Coke and 1 ginger ale, please.
You want a maple donut with concrete?
Oh, do you want it?
This is delicious.
Yeah, okay, let's do that.
Why not?
Why not?
What years is that car?
I don't know, I borrowed my mom's car.
All right. My friend just brought one to Cariboo like this. When you get out of the container, they all freak out.
Oh, really?
Did the one that's got the lights showing the logo?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the one.
It's funny, it's like Batman.
Yeah.
Right?
It's exactly what I thought when I fit.
So good, especially when you're hungry.
In the late afternoon, we reached 100 Mile House, where we would stay for the night. Our first stop the next morning was the 108 Mile House Heritage Site, which includes a collection of historic buildings from the area, mostly from the Gold Rush era. The exhibits were interesting, and most fascinating was the story of Agnes McVie, a lady who ran the hotel here, who was said to have murdered many gold miners. Whether this is all true or not, however, is disputed. Another hour's drive and we were in Williams Lake, where we stopped for a quick lunch. We were finally on the last stretch to Barkerville. Once we reached the city of Quesnel, we turned right onto the Barkerville Highway, a quiet stretch of 85 kilometers that suddenly felt quite remote and where the occasional moose would wander across. First things first, we checked into the St. George Hotel, the only accommodation that you can stay in right within the town. Barkerville is a living museum where you really do feel transported back in time because many of the buildings are also functioning. You can stay at the hotel, you can eat at the restaurants, you can mail post at the post office, and you can see shows at the theater. Of course, there are also buildings with exhibits to look at. What you'll also notice in Barkerville is that a sizable chunk of the town is Chinatown. This is because during the Cariboo Gold Rush, many Chinese men from the Guangdong province also came over seeking fortune. At one point in the 1880s, they made up half of the population in the area. For our first meal in Barkerville, we went to Lung Duck Tong, one of 2 restaurants in town and a perfect example of Canadian Chinese food. We've been given forks. The noodles are good. I think it knows. I had arrived in Barkerville without any real expectations of what we were going to be doing and was surprised just how many activities there were to participate in. We honestly couldn't fit it all into the schedule even though we stayed 2 nights. We began our morning with an incredible town tour led by Miss Florence Wilson, after which we mailed ourselves some postcards.
Wretched shambles where they're more concerned with paying for the medicine than they are about actually administering it. I don't believe anyone.
Right next door was the bakery.
It's mango peach pie.
In the afternoon, we joined the Chinese school lesson, then caught the show at the Theatre Royal. We also couldn't miss out on a stagecoach ride through town.
It'll be a right foot, right foot. Yep. Right there. There's one of my favorite views.
Oh, yeah.
Never gets old.
No. Would there have been this much wood around them, or would they have sort of cleared a space?
It would have been clean. All the roads.
At the saloon, you can enjoy brews from Barkerville Brewing, which is actually situated in Quesnel. And at the confectionery, you can pick up old-fashioned chocolates and candies. Finally, to wrap up the day, we had dinner at Wake Up Jake, the only other restaurant in town. It offers up some classic old-style dishes.
I'm gonna try this first. It's good.
There was honestly so much to do that I could have stayed another night. The tours were extremely informative, and I liked that they acknowledged the negative consequences of the gold rush as well. So if you like history, I would definitely recommend a visit to Barkerville. Getting a little bit close. Are you? After saying goodbye to Barkerville, we grabbed some lunch at Granville's Coffee in Quesnel. In order to break up the drive back down to Vancouver, we booked a night's stay at a cabin in historic Hat Creek Ranch. Their website states that this is one of the few sections of the original Cariboo wagon road still accessible to the public. There are many options for accommodations on site, including camping, prospectors' shacks, cabins, or the covered wagon.
It's a whole bedroom in there, and the washroom is actually quite big.
For dinner, we drove to the nearby Cache Creek, where we found a fun old-school diner.
They're so big.
Before we left, we paid a visit to the rest of the site. The main feature here is the historic roadhouse, the Hat Creek House. It was one of the largest roadhouses along the old Cariboo wagon road.
Oh, here comes up. Oh, hello. It sounds so cute.
Between historic Hat Creek and Cache Creek is a really cute family-owned farm and market known for their pies and bread. It was the perfect place to grab some lunch and wrap up our Gold Rush Trail road trip.
It's good, it's refreshing. I'm trying to figure out what the berry tastes like. I don't know.